Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea and today I am so excited. Once again, we're going to be playing with some Natasha Denona products, and more specifically, we are going to be comparing the bronze cheek palette with the tan bronze and glow palette. So a few of you all have been asking me since I created my video on the new bronze collection, is the tan one similar? I don't know if I should do the tan or the bronze. And I felt like even though these aren't similar, it would be really good to just compare them side by side, one on one side of the face, one on the other. So that's what we're doing today. But before we get into this video, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. If this is your first time here, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe to my channel and join the Glam Girl Squad. And if you are a returning subscriber, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming back, for always liking my videos and commenting. It really does mean a lot to me, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. So let's get into this video. Now, if you have not seen my review on the Natasha Denona Bronze Collection, I did record that, and I will link that for you right here. I did a review on the eyeshadow palette with comparisons and also the face palette. So, and I'm actually wearing the bronze palette on my eyes as well. So let's just get into the demonstration. So here we have the tan bronze and glow palette. I absolutely love this palette. I bought this palette when it first came out, and when I initially reviewed it, I didn't really like it too much because I was comparing it to the Bloom Blush and Glow palette. But once I figured out how to use it, she's been a love of mine. So the way that I normally enjoy using this palette, I use this shade right here. This is the bronzer blush shade. I use it as a bronzer on me. When I try to use it as a blush, it just doesn't look too well on me. And then I like to go in sometimes with the cream highlight, lay that down first, and then I'll typically go in with either of these two powder highlights. But today I will use all four of the shades on my cheeks just to show you how they look on one side of the face, and then we'll do the same with the bronze palette. So going in with my Wayne Goss large artist brush, I'm going to go in with the bronzer blush shade. Like I said in my review of the bronze collection, I will always get all of these face palettes by Natasha. I thoroughly love all of them. I think each one of them serves a great purpose in my collection, but there is also not a need to have them all. So if you're somebody who's like, I really am just not here to have all of them, then I'm hoping that this video will help you figure that out. I've also done a comparison video of the Bloom Blush and Glow palette, the Tan Bronze and Glow palette, and the Love Cheek palette. So I'll link that for you right here if you would like to go and just take a look and see how I compare all three. If you want me to do a comparison of all four of these cheek palettes, let me know. I will be more than happy to do that for you. So just comment that down below. So I love this bronzer blush shade on me. I think it works really good. It leaves more of a reddish brown type of bronze look, but it doesn't look too burnt, which I really enjoy. It's almost like a reddish rosy type of bronzer. And I think it looks beautiful. I think this shade looks well on deeper skin tones as more so of a blush, and then lighter skin tones can use this more so as a bronzer. Now I'm gonna go in with my BK Beauty 107 brush, and I'm gonna go in with the cream highlight, and I'm going to apply that. And I like applying this one with a brush. So I go in with this. I think that this cream shade is a nice subtle cream shade. So you can intensify it if you would like, but I feel like you can also apply it more subtly like I'm doing, just to give you a nice base for your highlight. Now let's go in with the medium artistry brush by Wayne Goss. And I wanna go in with the Glow Impact powder. And I wanna wrap it around my cheeks to give my cheeks more of a glow, and just kind of diffuse it that way. Going in with my powder brush just to kind of diffuse that a little bit. Okay, yes. We don't want to be too blingy. And then I'm going to go in with the Small Artist Wayne Goss brush, and I'm going to go in with this Super Glow shade right here. And I'm only using a little bit because this shade will give you the blinding highlight if that is what you want. Okay, so this is the Tan Bronze and Glow palette. I feel like this palette is just beautiful. I love using this palette either on its own like we see here. I also like using it in conjunction with the other face palettes or like another blush as well, because I like a good blush. But I didn't put any on today just because I wanted us to see what this palette looked like in and of its own. I think this palette actually will work excellent for deeper complexions. And what I like about this palette is that even though you have this more champagne type of color, none of these shades look ashy on the skin. None of these shades have that paler base to it. So I do think that this palette would work well for deeper complexions. I don't think this is the best palette for more fair to light complexions, just because all of the shades in this palette do run more deep. And so I think it just wouldn't be the best type of palette for fair complexions, fair to light complexions. But I think this would be excellent for medium tan and deeper complexions. Now let's go into the bronze palette. So I did get a replacement of the palette because mine broke, and I was like, I wanted to replace it. So here is a better look at the Bronze Face Glow palette. So as you can see, one of the biggest differences between these two palettes is that in the bronze palette, there is no powder type of blush bronzer. So that is something that I would have liked in this one, just because I'm a palette girl. I like to use one palette for the purpose of the palette. So for me, this palette would have been perfection if there was some type of bronzer shade, because then I just could have used that and had a blush, bronzer, and highlight. So for this face, I'm not gonna add bronzer because I just want us to see once again what all of the products look like on the face. So I'm gonna go in first with the Bounce Cream Blush. And I'm going in with, I'm gonna go in with my Morphe E4 brush. This is my blush brush for, to apply the Bounce Cream Blush. And as you can see, this is a muted pearlescent type of blush color. Like I mentioned in my review of this bronze collection, I feel that if you have deeper skin tones, this will be more of a muted cream highlight on your complexion. This Bounce Cream formula is nice because even though it's a cream, it is not an overly emollient cream. So if you're not comfortable with cream products because you feel like they kind of slip and slide everywhere, this formula is not like that. And I think it would be easier for people to use if they're not used to cream products. This formula I feel works best with a synthetic brush because it's able to pick up the product a little more easy. Next, we're gonna go in with the Bounce Cream Glow. I'm gonna go in with my Refer P09 brush and we're going to apply it right here. Once again, more of a muted color. And like I mentioned in my review, if you have a deeper complexion, you can use this. You probably would just be able to use this as a cream highlight. This palette would work better for lighter complexions when compared to the Tan, Bronze, and Glow, because these two shades are definitely more muted and the deeper shades in the palette don't have a strong base to them, and so you can manipulate them to your liking. If you have a lighter complexion than the two deeper shades here, you could use as eyeshadow, since this one is really marketed as a face palette for eyes, lips, and cheeks. Now let's go in with the Wayne Goss medium artist brush. I wiped it off, and let's go in with the Super Glow nude shade, and I'm gonna use that to top over this cream blush, the Bounce Cream Blush. So I'm gonna use that here. Once again, added a little too much to going in with my powder brush to kind of diffuse that a bit. And then going in with my small artist brush by Wayne Goss, wiped it off. We're gonna go in with the Super Glow bronze shade right here and apply this to the high point of the cheek. So here we have the bronze cheek face palette. This is the Tan, Bronze, and Glow palette. And upon looking at both, like I said, I really feel like the Tan Bronze and Glow palette is going to be the one that will work better for deeper complexions because you can get more depth from the palette, especially with this blush bronzer shade. And then, like I said, for the other shades in the palette, I feel like they are going to be the ones that are going to complement deeper complexions, your mediums, tans, and so forth. Whereas the Bronze Cheek palette, although it is more bronzy than this particular palette, and really what makes this palette more bronzy is this shade here. If you were to cover this shade up, then you've got a really fair to light palette with this one. And I think because, like I mentioned earlier, the shades in here are more muted, a little bit more transparent in terms of their base. This makes this palette more flexible for shades. It's just going to be more so of just a highlighter palette. Whereas the Tan Bronze and Glow palette, if you were to cover up this particular shade, the 3 shades that are remaining aren't as light, they don't look as muted and as fair. So once again, those are my comparisons of these 2 palettes. So if you're somebody who likes swatches, here are swatches of the 2 palettes on my arm. So these 4 swatches are from Tan Bronze and Glow, and then these 4 swatches are going to be from the Bronze Cheek palette. So once again, you can see that the Tan Bronze and Glow, the shades are a little more friendly for deeper complexions than the Bronze Cheek palette, and the shades are more pigmented than they are for the Bronze Cheek palette. With most of these shades, I only had to do 1 swipe, whereas especially with these 3 shades right here in the Bronze Cheek palette, I had to do multiple applications to get these swatches to appear as pigmented as they do. So guys, I hope that you found this review helpful. I definitely found it helpful for myself because I really got to see the 2 palettes compared to each other. And for me, I'm like, I would reach for this palette, the Bronze Cheek palette, when I wanted a more subtle look, when I wanted something just to make my skin look nice and glowy, and I want more of a bronzier look. I'll throw on that bronze shade, and I've got this more subtle type of bronzy glowy cheek. But if I want a little bit more depth, if I want, you know, a bronzer color, if I want to have more of a blinging type of glow, a more prominent type of glow, I'm gonna reach for the Tan Bronze and Glow palette. Now, do I think you need both? I honestly do not think you need both. And especially seeing them compared on my face, I do think Tan Bronze and Glow, like I said before, I do think the Tan Bronze and Glow palette is going to be better for deeper complexions. And I think the Bronze Cheek palette is going to be great for someone who wants either more muted toned highlighters, or you have fairer skin tone. So fair, light, medium. And then if you have a deeper complexion, I still think you can use this. This is just going to give you more muted tone highlighter. And that's pretty much it. So I hope that you guys found this review helpful and useful. Let me know if you still have any questions down below that I did not answer for you. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye guys.